Hi, Peter Salemian. Welcome to the Watchman program and part 4 of this video series on the Passover. Of course, we are defending our position here that we Christians need to keep the Passover, and we are also defending the position that Jesus Christ of Nazareth was crucified on a Wednesday afternoon, buried around 4, then 3 days and 3 nights later, on the third day after his crucifixion, he resurrected on a Sabbath afternoon. And we're dealing with some arguments that people try to make to try and justify them keeping Easter or believing in that old scenario of the Good Friday crucifixion, Easter Sunday morning resurrection. Now, if you believe in that chronology of Good Friday, Easter Sunday morning, then you're going to have to deal with these two scriptures that I want to show you in this broadcast that clearly contradict that scenario. And they're found in Mark, the 16th chapter, verse 1, and Luke 23:56. And it says this, Mark 16:1. It says, "And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Salome had bought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him." So they bought spices clearly after the Sabbath. But in Luke 23:56 it says this. It says, "And they returned and prepared spices and ointments and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment." Hold on a second here. It says here that they prepared the spices before the Sabbath, but in Mark it says that they bought spices after the Sabbath. Now, if you believe in that chronology of Good Friday, Easter Sunday, then there is a clear contradiction. Is there a contradiction? Does the Bible contradict in any one of its points? Well, absolutely not. The only time the Bible contradicts is when man tries to work their traditions into the scriptures. When they do that, then you get all sorts of contradictions like you see here. But when you let the Bible interpret itself and speak to you, there is no contradiction. So how do we reconcile these scriptures? Now, this author, Rodney Decker, THD, in his article here, Notes on the Chronology of the Passion Week, he tried to harmonize these two scriptures with that chronology of Good Friday to Easter Sunday, and he couldn't do it. He tries several times in this article, and I'll put this article in the description below, in the YouTube description. You can read it for yourself. He tries a couple of times to harmonize it, couldn't do it, and then he says this: "The crucifixion may not have been on Friday, as traditionally taught, but on a Wednesday. This view enables a harmonization of Mark and Luke and results in a viable chronology," which he is correct. This is where people go astray when it comes to these scriptures, because they just don't understand the Old Testament feast days and some of the lingo that the gospel accounts use. Notice what it says here in Mark 15:42. This is where people go astray. It says, "And now," Mark 15:42, it says, "And now, when the even was come," or it should read drawing near, "because it was the preparation," that is the day before the Sabbath. And a lot of people think it's the preparation for the weekly Sabbath. But when we go into John's gospel, he makes it clear what preparation it is that is meant here. In John 19:14, it says this: "And it was the preparation of the Passover," not for the weekly Sabbath, but for the Passover. And this happened annually, not weekly. And it could happen on any day of the week. Notice what it says here by History of the Christian Church by Philip Scaff, page 134. It says here, "Following the Jewish chronology and appealing to the authority of the apostles John and Philip, celebrated the Christian Passover uniformly on the 14th of Nisan, which might fall on any of the 7 days of the week." Fall on any day of the week. "The Pascha should be observed on the 14th day of the first month, according to the law, no matter on what day of the week it might fall. So this could happen on any day of the week, the preparation of the Passover. Now that we know this, it says, and now when the evening was drawing near, because it was the preparation of the Passover, it says that is the day before the Sabbath. Automatically, people think it's the day before the weekly Sabbath. However, again, back to John's gospel, and he makes it clear which Sabbath he is speaking of here. John 19:31, it says this, the Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation, meaning the preparation for the Passover, that the bodies should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day. Now, he becomes specific. He makes it specific, rather, which Sabbath he's speaking of. For that Sabbath day was an high day. It was a high day Sabbath. Now, what does he mean by the high day Sabbath? Well, it meant the annual Sabbath that took place, meaning the first day of unleavened bread. And here we see the same Greek word is used, mega, for another annual Sabbath of one of the feast days in John 7:37. It says this, in the last day, that great day of the feast, Jesus stood up and cried. Here it's speaking of the Feast of Tabernacles, and it says that great day of the feast. It's the same word, great day of the feast, and it meant the last day of the feast. It was an annual Sabbath, the last great day of the feast. So it was a high day Sabbath. And here, the first day of unleavened bread, that Sabbath day was an high day, or a great day, a great Sabbath. And it meant the first day of unleavened bread. It was an annual Sabbath that could take place on any day of the week. And so when we get back here to Mark 15:42, now we can understand what is meant here. It says, and now when the evening was drawing near, because it was the preparation of the Passover, that is the day before the high day Sabbath. That's what's meant. And so when we get here to Mark 16, we can understand. It says, and when the Sabbath, meaning the high day Sabbath, was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Salome had bought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. So after the high day Sabbath, they bought the spices. And then when we get to Luke, the 23rd chapter, verse 56, it says, and they returned and prepared spices and ointments and rested the Sabbath day, meaning the weekly Sabbath, according to the commandment. So there is no contradiction when we understand that Jesus was crucified on a Wednesday afternoon, buried around 4. Then came the high day Sabbath. After the high day Sabbath, probably the Friday morning, they bought the spices, then prepared the spices, then rested before the weekly Sabbath day. Then at the end of the weekly Sabbath day, as it says in, when we go to the 28th chapter, it says, and in the end of the Sabbath, when does that happen? At sundown. At the end of the Sabbath was coming to an end. They came to the tomb, and Jesus was gone already because he resurrected around 4 p.m. that Sabbath afternoon. And this clearly shows that Jesus was buried, and then 3 days and 3 nights later, on the Sabbath afternoon, he was resurrected. I urge you to get our booklet, Jesus' Resurrection on the Seventh Day Sabbath, and Passover, Is It for Christians? And this article also that I wrote, I'll put all the links in the description below. This article that I wrote, the Gospels reveal 2 Sabbaths and the 3 full days between the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. I'll put that, and I'll also put this article up as well by Rodney Decker, Notes on the Chronology of the Passion Week. And you can read this all for yourself, and you will see that there is no contradiction in the Gospels, and that Jesus Christ of Nazareth resurrected on the 7th day Sabbath. This is Peter Salemi saying goodbye, friends, and I'll see you here next time on the Watchman program.